let me tell you something. Figmas are frustrating. Okay, so the main thing about Figmas is that you have all these different pieces that they come with, and you're able to customize them, right? Okay. So you have, a figure, and it comes in like a giant box where it gives you all these different parts that you use to, pose them in different ways and stuff. That's the fun part. The frustrating part, and the part that I hate, is the fact that I'm so addicted to putting him into very specific poses to make him, look cool, of course. And it gets to a point where I want to put him in poses so much to the point where it becomes an obsession almost, to the point where it takes a really long time to do that. So one thing I'm going to do today, just to pretty much, I guess, visualize my point as to why I hate Figma, but secretly love them as well, is to show you just how long it takes me to put these 3 into poses. So let's get that started. But before I begin, these are 3 poses that I have them in right now. I've had them like this for about 3 weeks, I'd say. I always like to put them in poses where they interact with each other, but for this special case, I didn't do that. So I guess you could call this, posing. I'm not sure what that pose is necessarily. Honestly, sometimes I just get inspiration for certain poses, like sometimes I'll have them, doing things together, and sometimes I'll have them doing, something separately, maybe make them possibly even look cool or something like that. Or maybe put them in a pose that makes them look cool or something like that. Sometimes I just get like random inspiration either while I'm doing it or while I'm doing something else. And then Makoto here, I have her just, posing just regularly. And then Yukiko, I gotta be honest, she probably has the least options in terms of like posability, because Makoto, she has like her legs and then her arms, and then she has the cape as well, and then she also has like the mask that she uses when she goes into her persona form or her thief form. But it's just with Yukiko, she doesn't really have too much. She has like glasses, which I really like, but there's not really much beyond that. I'm gonna try though. I'm gonna try to put all 3 of these in a pose where they all interact and see, like I said, how long that takes. So let's get started, and I'll give you guys some updates. It ended up taking me 35 minutes to do this, but I think it turned out pretty well actually. I've never done poses like this before, so I think it turned out pretty okay. I'm pretty excited for you guys to see this, but other than that, I'll just have that running in the background. Well, other than that, what have I been up to? It's really just down to just kind of schoolwork and just really just trying to do well in my classes overall. That, and also I really want to do this one project I've been meaning to do for a very long time. So I'm kind of trying to focus on just one big project right now, as opposed to just doing multiple videos. I might just have little videos like spread out, just so you guys will have something to watch at least. But yeah, I want to get this video out, and it's taking a pretty long time to do. I still have a lot of work to do on it. That and programming, that takes a lot of work, a lot more work than you could possibly imagine. Jeez, like I just got done doing a website, and that took like 5 hours over the course of 2 days. Like, it was insane. But I like the design of the website, of course, but it just, man, that takes a really long time. That takes a lot out of me, especially. But of course, I'm still been playing games. One thing I really want to make a video on is indie games. Indie games, they've really advanced a lot, and it's kind of happened under my nose, really, because I never really paid too much attention to indie games. I do like my fair share of indie games. Like recently, for example, I just played Super Meat Boy for the very first time, and I absolutely love that game. Like that, like one of the reasons I got a 360 in the first place was so I could play the original version of Super Meat Boy. Because for those who don't know, Super Meat Boy, the soundtrack for that game, I'm pretty sure the only version that has the actually original soundtrack for that game is the 360 version. Of course, on PC you could probably mod it so it'd play the original soundtrack, but something happened with the developer and that guy that made the music. They changed it. They changed the soundtrack and everything. And I heard a little bit of it, and it just does not fit the game at all. So I'm very grateful that I was able to actually play that game, and that's become like one of my favorite indie games. It's just honestly, it's just kind of sad that we won't get a physical version of that game with the original soundtrack, because the 360 version never got a physical version, and the PS3 version wasn't a thing. PS3 never got that game back then. I'm pretty sure it's on PS4 though. Uh, but man, that game was awesome. I was looking to play Celeste, but I don't know, just certain indie games, like it. It's just when they talk up the story so much to the point where it's like I don't know. Whenever people talk up the story in indie games, to me it just sounds like really corny, especially when they make it to sound like something you know that's so above every game or something like that. I don't know. It just sounds so corny. I don't know. I'm kind of reluctant to play that game. Uh, I guess the word I'm trying to say is pretentious, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to be sold on Celeste. I've always said that. Uh, Someone needs to sell me on Celeste. If you've played the Celeste, let me know how it is. I'm not sure. I've also played Bug Fables. That's like easily my game of the year this year. I freaking love that game. If you're looking for Paper Mario, just like classic Paper Mario, that is exactly the game you are looking for, and you will not regret it. That game is hilarious. It brings so much new to the table. One thing I really like about it is that it has three core characters throughout the entire game. It's not like Paper Mario where you have, partners, and they're kind of like the star for their own chapter, but like besides them maybe being in your party at the same time a story event happens, they only really get to talk unless you pretty much let them talk. Whereas this, all three characters, they have their own abilities and they all grow throughout the game. You get to really know them a lot more as opposed to Paper Mario where it's just like I said, the partner based thing. So that aspect is awesome. And then they also have their own abilities and stuff like that, and they grow throughout the game. And the side quests are so well implemented into the actual core game to the point where the more side quests you do, it's kind of like they're growing. So it really has this really good sense of growth in each of the characters, where all their abilities, they're gaining more abilities, and even that's just individually, but also they have team attacks as well. So if you do like some of the hardest side quests, then you'll actually get more advanced moves that use multiple different party members. And there's a ton of cool abilities, ton of cool moves. And then they also have badges, of course. I think they're called medals in this game. And there's a ton that are just really awesome, really cool. I was never really too much into just the whole badge thing. I just kind of generally use the same ones in like Paper Mario. But this one is it really kind of encourages just experimenting and just figuring out what the best strategies are. And that's like one of my favorite parts about any RPG, and that game definitely has it. Hilarious, obviously, as well. The music is freaking fantastic. I swear, if they make a physical version of that game, they have to include the soundtrack. That soundtrack is freaking amazing. Oh my god, that easily game of the year, easily. Another game I've been playing was Hades. That released on Switch and PC. I think it's been on PC for a long time, just in early access, but they released it on Switch. I think last Friday, I think. I don't know, but they released it fairly recently. That game's very addicting. I've enjoyed every single one of Supergiant's games. Supergiant games. It's kind of like Platinum Games, where it's like they have games in their names, so you say games. Anyways, I've liked a lot. I've liked all their games so far. The only one I haven't played was Pyre, and I'm just waiting for that to go on Switch. And they have said that it's coming to Switch, but if it was easy to put it on Switch, it would already be on Switch. That's literally what they said. So I don't know. It'll get on there eventually. I'm just really interested in that. That's like a soccer RPG. Supergiant, they make these isometric type games where it's just kind of like a dungeon crawler and you gain these abilities, and it's just an action RPG type game. Hades is more of like, I think it's a roguelite, I think that's what it's called. Me personally, I'm not really a fan of that genre at all, and I really like Hades. Like, I played Dead Cells, and I didn't like that game really. I really just bought that game just because the whole Philip Mewson saga. That was funny. But I couldn't really get into that. But Hades is definitely that's bringing it to a whole nother level where not only do you have that whole base concept of you get a little bit further and further the more skilled you get, and the more skills you buff up your character. But also you have all these different characters you can learn about and get relationships with and get abilities from. So it makes it, it kind of has that, I guess, breath of fresh air, not breath of fresh air, but it has that, um, I guess, calm before the storm type of pattern where it's like when you get into the action, you get out and then you can just talk to the characters. It has this like really good flow to it, and I've been really enjoying that game. I'm kind of wanting to play more of it, honestly, but haven't beaten that game yet. But yeah, just indie games in general have just really improved a lot. And let me see, what am I doing here? Oh yeah. So in Makoto was really hard to do. She I have no idea what to use her knuckles for. I think I showed that earlier in here. These like spike knuckles she has. I I honestly can't find a use for her other than just like posing how she does in Persona 5. Oh yeah, I think right here I'm trying to put the gun in, and putting that gun in was really hard. I had no idea how to put it in. I did it before, but I wasn't exactly sure how to do it. This time. As for the other two characters, I thought they came out fairly well. I never know what to do with Yukiko because she doesn't really have too much I can work with. But like I said, I think it turned out pretty well. So I have Aigis, down on 4, and then Yukiko down on 4. So they're kind of like posing like they're a team or something like that. Uh, I always like I said, I always like making poses where they all kind of flow together. I remember when I only had Aigis and Yukiko, I had Aigis like pretty much pick up uh, Yukiko and just raise her above her arms and her whole body in general. I might put a picture up if I can find a picture of it. I'm not sure, but Yukiko, or not Yukiko, Makoto also has this cape as well. And one of the most interesting things I learned from it was the art book by the artist of the game, and he said that when he made Makoto, he originally made her without a cape. And what he saw with each of the other characters is that if you have a silhouette of them, they'll be easily noticeable just by what they're wearing and just their more defining traits, I guess you could say, in their thief outfits. Whereas with Makoto didn't originally have the cape, so he actually added the cape to make her look, make her stand out, as a silhouette. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, this is the final pose I had them all in. I thought it turned out, like I said, I thought it turned out pretty well. They're kind of just posing as a team. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's kind of sorry if it was hard to see what was going on. I was actually filming this on my PS4. Actually put the camera on my PS4. So, but yeah, that's what I'm working with right now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But yeah, that's all for me, and I'll see you guys next time.